Hello and welcome to Soda Review Channel, where today we'll be talking about Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. I probably would have gone with Wild Cherries and Cream just because I think it sounds better, but they have Pepsi Wild Cherries. They're obviously making a connection with that branding, which makes sense because that's a pre-existing drink that's fairly popular among some people, and also a recent video on the channel. All right, let's compare this to regular Pepsi, which is basically the same as cherry Pepsi ingredient wise. Carbonated water, yeah. High fructose corn syrup, yeah. Interesting. So this one goes, the original Pepsi goes caramel color, sugar, phosphoric acid, caffeine, citric acid, natural flavor. But the wild cherry and cream Pepsi instead, right after high fructose corn syrup, goes natural and artificial flavor, caramel color, phosphoric acid, caffeine, citric acid. Both 63 milligrams of caffeine per 20 fluid ounces. Okay, so they have almost the same ingredient list, except that the original Pepsi is just natural flavors and also lists sugar separately from high fructose corn syrup. And the wild cherry and cream Pepsi is natural and artificial flavor and does not separately list sugar, presumably a different sugar than high fructose corn syrup, because it would be weird to list both if it's just the one kind. But it doesn't say cane sugar, it just says sugar. I don't know what kind it is. The wild cherry Pepsi was like that also. Um I may have already put up a screen note as to what that is, or I may not have been able to find out. I'm sure you know by now, but I don't at this point. So let's look at this a little more closely. On this, they have removed almost all of the blue from the label, except this in the bottom of the Pepsi logo here. But the cap is still blue, and on the regular Pepsi, of course, that makes sense. And on the wild cherry Pepsi, it also fits because that's mostly just blue with some extra cherries on the logo. But in this case, they've gone for this very cream and red design that only has this small amount of blue, and so it looks kind of out of place. Actually, huh? I'm assuming it's an ink thing to save colors, but the stems on these cherries are blue. The stems and leaves are blue. Um, Director, um, bring me the empty bottle for the wild cherry Pepsi, please, or the partially empty bottle. There may be a blip there. There may not be. We'll see. Um, they actually did this on this one too. I did not notice at the time. Huh. I'm assuming it, yeah, I'm going to go with the same assumption that it is to save on the number of colors of ink that have to be used. And frankly, I didn't notice at first. Um, so I guess it's working, but it feels weird once you notice. Like the wild cherry Pepsi, the wild cherry and cream Pepsi also contains 0% juice. I probably wouldn't mention that except that it's on the label here. Um, let's see. Like the wild cherry Pepsi, this has 10 more calories than the regular Pepsi. And like the wild cherry Pepsi, if you're drinking this entire bottle, the 10 calories is probably not that important to you. Let's uh let's crack this open and see what we got. That made a little bit of a wet fart noise. And also the little cap ring uh, came off with it, which it's not really supposed to do, but doesn't really matter. All right. The only listed dye is caramel color, so once again, I'm expecting this to just look like a normal Pepsi. Gonna get this cap back on here. Yeah, that looks pretty normal. It also looks like it hasn't been opened, but it clearly has because it's half empty. All right, what's it smell like? That smells extremely different. Um, yeah, I'm getting a very the description I'm going to go with is cake frosting type smell. That very maybe vanilla in feel, but realistically more just kind of sugar smell, but very much vanilla in feel. Um, let's see how it tastes. I my first thought before trying it is I am hoping it is similar to the holiday creamy vanilla Coca-Cola, but with cherry. They also, of course, did a cherry Coke float Coke, but I didn't think that one was as good. So I'm hoping this is more like the holiday creamy vanilla. And the thing that I really liked about that one um, was the texture of it. It had this very, very like smooth, like sort of thick texture, and I thought it was really good. Oh yeah, I like that. I don't get much cherry from it. Really thinking about it, I can kind of tell there's cherry there, but I already found that the wild cherry Pepsi wasn't that strong of a cherry flavor, and this sort of creamy flavor is really strong, and it does have like a nice thick texture to it. Um, let me have some more of that. Let's try that again. Mm. It sort of has an aftertaste, kind of like the flavor of like a malted milk ball. If you've ever had one of those. Um, which I think is interesting in a drink, and I think it's pretty good. Um, I don't get that much cherry from it specifically. I do get a little bit of fruitiness that I already associate with Pepsi. I find Pepsi's a little bit fruitier than Coca Cola. Yeah, I. Hmm. So I'm a little bit conflicted on this one because it does have that like nice thick texture that I really like. But I feel like the flavor doesn't really have a good identity to it. It's sort of vaguely like, hmm. It's kind of Pepsi and kind of vanilla. A little bit of fruitiness, but I'm not sure if that's extra cherry or if that's just the slight fruitiness of Pepsi. Yeah, I don't feel like it has very strong flavor identity, but it has a really good texture. And I think if this texture was more broadly available, I think I would have to just give this an okay. But drinks with this sort of thicker texture are kind of unusual, and I do think they're probably going for like a dirty soda type of feel. If you add that dairy to something, it does give it that like a little bit more like a body. And I think that's probably why they've gone for this texture. I really like the texture. Um, and so in a vacuum by itself, I think I would give this an okay. But in the context of the real world, where this like thicker soda texture is less common, might even go so far as to say that it's rare. I am going to give the Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream a good.